The Twin Twist.
We call this here a little twin.
Twin, that's my twin.
You don't believe me? Go ask the twins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Twin Twist Show. I am Miss Nick.
And what's everybody? I am Lady T, and we are real twin sisters who love to talk about pop culture and everything else that's great going on in the world. And we just decided to start recording our conversations.
Yep. So we hope that you guys enjoy it. Get ready. It might be a lot of singing going on in this one because we are going over some 90s R&B music. This is a bracket that was put together like a March Madness tournament bracket that was put together by Naima Cochran. She has been in the music industry for a really long time. She has this really awesome Twitter, so you guys can follow her on Twitter and IG. And she posted this bracket, and Lady T sent it to me, and I was like, oh my God, we have to record this because we are big, huge fanatics of 90s R&B. It's like the best era in music. So we're going to go over the bracket. So I'm going to pull it up for us, T.
Let's get started.
And while I'm pulling this up, you guys, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Yep, and be easy on us. Give us a little grace. This is our first pod together, so we may be a little nervous. We're working out some kinks, but let's do it. We're going to do fine.
Okay, let's see. I am looking for T. What do you see up on the screen now?
You don't have anything up yet.
Okay.
Well, while she's pulling it up, we just want to kind of give you a synopsis of what the brackets look like. So basically, there's a pool for solo female and then for female groups. And the separate pool is for solo male and then for male group. So ultimately, we're going to come up with a winner for solo women and a winner for female groups. And the winner will represent, I guess, the women's side. And then there'll be a winner for solo male and a winner for male groups. And then that winner will go to the finals. And so the ultimate showdown will be between a female artist or female group and a male artist or male group.
And I cannot wait. Okay, so you got it? Is it up?
Okay, yep, it's up.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to start with the solo women's category. And as you can see, the first two are Mary J. Blige versus Phyllis Hyman. T, who you got?
Oh man, okay, so this is tough. And I'm a real lyrical thinker, and there are so many elements to selecting the person who or the artist who you want to go with, right? Because not only do you want to consider their actual voice control or their voice talent or how well they use their instrument, you also can consider like the number of hits they've had in comparison to the other person. You can also consider their cultural value compared to the other person. This particular bracket is kind of wonky to me only because Mary J. Blige and Phyllis Hyman are they're like decades apart. They're kind of like in the wrong, or they're kind of like in opposite spectrums. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
Phyllis, of course, gave us mother energy,
Absolutely.
whereas Mary is kind of like in our generation. You know, we kind of uh have a different kind of connection to Mary. Okay. And so for that reason, for cultural value, for just like personal connection, I have to go with my queen Mary J. Her music has inspired me on so many levels. Her music from What's the 4-on-1 to even Good Morning Gorgeous, her most recent effort, has just spoken into my life and woven me, and literally it's the soundtrack to my life in so many ways. So for cultural significance for me personally, I gotta give it to Mary. No shade to the mother Phyllis. Rest in peace, Queen Goddess. Her voice was phenomenal, unreal, and her beauty. Oh, she was absolutely stunning. Again, rest in peace to the mother Phyllis, but I gotta go with Mary J.
I agree with you 100%. I also agree that I am looking at some of these matchups, and they are absolutely just really just tragic mashups. Like, like some of these are like two iconic people going head to head in the first round, and it's like so unfair. But this is it. This is what we got. Thanks, Naima. But I agree. As far as yes, there are multiple things that you're looking at. I think as far as getting the era right, error ERA. But
Mhm.
yeah, Phyllis Hyman is a phenomenal talent, absolutely gorgeous. Like she was serving looks like nobody's business. But there, she to me is 80s. Mary J. Blige is obviously more 90s. Again, cultural significance. Um, I think that she touched like an entire generation of
Absolutely.
Black girls. So, yes, we will have to give Mary the dub on this one. So we agree. I can't wait till we get to things that we disagree on. Okay. So Mary is moving forward in our bracket. All right.
All right.
So
And so
we're
the
going to
next
move on.
bracket we have Tamia, the Canadian Queen, versus Deborah Cox, who's also Canadian.
Oh, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, this is a little more, I guess, an even kind of bracket, only because they both came out around the same time. Again, both amazing talents, amazing voices. Both really had a couple of like iconic songs. Deborah Cox obviously had "Nobody's Supposed to Be Here," which is like the a karaoke song of black karaoke bars.
right. Absolutely.
But for me, Tamia has a couple of jams. Um, just really resonate to me. She's also like the line dance hustle queen right now. She's got a couple of songs I hear that everybody has a line dance hustle to. So, and she's also married to former Detroit Piston Grant Hill. So,
Detroit
gotta rep the
313.
D, gotta rep the 313. So I would have to advance Tamia.
Okay, and then I agree with you as well. I would advance to Mia right here. Deborah Cox, of course, phenomenal vocalist. You said Canadian Queen, absolutely. I read that she was actually inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, so that's
Oh,
super
that's
awesome.
great.
I know
Yeah.
that she still performs like on Broadway, and she does stage plays and everything like that. Her voice is amazing. And remember, a few years back, it was a Lifetime movie about Whitney Houston, and
Mhm.
she actually did the vocals and recreated Whitney Houston's vocals.
Right,
So that's
right.
crazy. I remember that. It was so crazy. You guys look it up. But yeah, Deborah Cox is a phenomenal talent. But honestly, I can only think of the one song by her. Nobody's supposed to be here. So because of that, I do think Tamia has more hits. So much respect to Deborah Cox, but Tamia, we both agree is going to advance. So now it's my turn
Alright.
for the next matchup, which is really interesting. I don't think these two artists match up well at all. It's really difficult to compare them because they're so different. But we have Aaliyah and Vanessa Williams. Vanessa Williams, the former beauty queen, not Vanessa Williams, the actress
Mhm.
from New Jack City and
Right.
and Soul Food, the TV show. Okay, so Aaliyah again representing Detroit, come through. Um, Aaliyah, super talented, a dancer. She was really on the verge of becoming like this huge, huge, huge breakout star. She was getting into films before the tragic accident, and she was so creative. Vanessa Williams, again, just a huge talent, very classy, uh, ridiculously gorgeous. And like I was
Mhm.
actually going through, like I had Googled some images trying to find pictures of all these artists, and um I was so jealous because it was with Deborah Cox and with Vanessa Williams. I'm looking at pictures from the 90s and then current pictures, and they still look as gorgeous as ever. So I was like really hating and being jealous. But but I would consider Vanessa Williams more of a 80s artist because she kind of broke out in the 80s.
Hmm.
So, but she, oh my gosh, she has some mega, mega, mega hits. And she too is a phenomenal actress and she crossed over into acting and stuff like that. But because I would consider her more of an 80s artist, I am going to very narrowly give Aaliyah the W on this. What do you think, T?
All right. So actually, Vanessa Williams' first single came out in 1991,
Oh wow.
and
Why do I
Aaliyah's
feel like
first
that's
single came
80s?
out in 1994.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So as far as their time frame, it's really not that different.
I guess
However,
not.
kind of like their genres are, obviously Aaliyah was Princess of R&B. Obviously, she along with Timberland and Missy Elliott kind of fostered in an entirely new sound that they introduced. Whereas Vanessa Williams was always kind of like that adult contemporary lane. So they kind of had, even though their time frames were kind of similar or not that different or far apart, their lanes were completely different, and that's another reason why this particular matchup is not always fair.
Right.
Obviously, as you stated, Vanessa Williams, goddess, absolutely stunning, beautiful, phenomenal voice. Her voice is angelic. She has beautiful music, but just for the cultural reasons, just my ability to identify with them a little bit more, just as far as similar age groups and my music taste at that particular time were definitely more R&B or leaning hip hop as opposed to adult contemporary. I also would have to go with Aaliyah.
Okay, wow. We have agreed on every matchup so far.
So far, let's keep it going.
All right, go ahead, T. You got the next one.
Alrighty. Okay, so the next matchup is interesting. It's going to be Erica Badu versus Maya.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Actually, this one is not so much of a challenge, not so difficult. I think Erica Badu is just the definition of an artist, just well-rounded. As far as the writing, uh, the lyrics, being a musician, just so creative, so unique. Like nobody was doing it like her. And so Maya is a I was gonna say beautiful gowns, but I'm not gonna hate.
Oh, no, no, don't do that. The shade.
But Maya
Not the
is
gowns, beautiful gowns.
a fun. I have to give her props. She is a phenomenal performer, and she is an incredible dancer. I think she made it to the finals on Dancing with the Stars or
Hmm.
something. So I have to give her props for that. It's a reason that she's been in the industry so long. But this to me is the easiest one so far. Erica Badu is gonna advance.
Okay, I hear you. Well, listen, we are not gonna sleep on Miss Maya, okay? She had some classic hits going out here. The joint with Cisco, it's all about you, 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 you. Come on, everybody was riding down their cars, pumping that real, real loud, and
Yeah,
then
facts.
yeah, and then when she came out a couple of years later with the Missy joint, my love is like,
Oh,
whoa, come
whoa.
on now.
Hey, okay. That was
Okay,
hot.
we
That was
gonna give
hot.
Miss Maya her credit, okay?
That was hot.
With that being said, Erica Badu helped foster in the entire neo soul movement.
Facts.
She is one of the
Facts.
originators who helped foster that into the entire. It changed the entire music industry, and it also opened doors for a lot of indie artists or a lot of different artists who didn't explicitly fit into that R&B shirt off, oiled body kind of thing that everybody was going on. And she was original. She came out with something that was completely unique, not just in her music styling, but also in her fashion and her looks. Um, and it was all effortless. It never seemed forced. It always seemed very genuine. And for that, I also have to go with Miss Badu.
Okay, again, we agree. So we're gonna move on to the next matchup. This is really interesting. We have Brandy and Shanice. T, take your pick.
So this one it is not a difficult one, and it's no shade to the other entity. However, I got to give it to Brandy. Brandy is also someone else who culturally just kind of changed the game. The early work that she did with who was that? Dark Child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just created a whole new sound that was new and fresh and different. And the fact that the girl's been doing it since she was a teenager is amazing. No shade to Shanice, who is a fun. Her voice is just
Ridiculous. It's
yes,
just
sends
ridiculous.
chills. And you know what she did, especially her early part of the career, was really nice. However, she just didn't have the longevity to carry it over to make like a big, bold cultural difference. So for that, I do have to give it to Brandy.
Hmm. I love your smile was and will always be that jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those when you ask like how come such and such, didn't really blow up? How come this person didn't become a big huge star? I think that her name would be, in that conversation. Incredibly talented, ridiculous voice, like oh my gosh. But yeah, this one was kind of easy. Brandy, the cultural impact, she could, I mean, the things that she, they call her the vocal Bible, of course. The way the way that she puts together those arrangements where she stacks her voice and she harmonizes with herself, and it's just so dope and
Mhm.
so original and uniquely her. And so again, we agree, Brandy is moving on. And our next matchup is Faith Evans and Shantae Moore. So T, you want to go first or you want me to take it?
Ugh,
I'm interested to
man.
hear what you think.
Ugh. All right. Vocally, both of these ladies above all metrics for vocal
Hmm.
talents and abilities. The things that these ladies can do with their instruments is just breathtaking. Um, Again, it's kind of different lanes. Faith Evans was always out the gate soul R&B, whereas Shantae Moore was a little bit more adult contemporary.
Hmm.
Um, so it's kind of like two different genres almost.
Hmm.
Shantae Moore, that first album is an epic classic.
Hmm.
People still have that heavily in rotation to this day. The thing is with Faith is that, oh, man, her music just resonated to me more personally. I guess that's because I mean I don't know. This is really hard to explain, right? Um, she is just a songwriter. Her music was always really timely. Her music always seemed to like be a very realistic view of what regular, everyday, round the way relationships are. Whereas Shantae's music was like for the super elevated, pretty much already got it together, maybe been married for about 10, 15 years. They just kind of,
Not to
whereas
15 years.
as Faith music was like we just getting together and we still going through the bumps and the bruises and the ups and the downs and and at that time that's what I was dealing with and going through. So because it's just like the interpersonal resignation with Faith's music, I gotta give it to Miss Evans.
Now it's really interesting that you said that like they are kind of different for you because to me, as far as vocally, they both have like lighter voices and they both phenomenal vocalists. But oh geez, like maybe it's the twin thing because I was expecting us to really have disagreements and back and forth about this. But I'm going to go with you and go with Faith Evans. I think maybe it's the bad boy effect because collectively the mark that bad boy when they hit it hit hard. So as
Mm,
a collective, it shook the culture. So maybe
yeah.
that's the edge that I'm giving Faith, but Faith is dope. Shantae Moore is dope. Was it not too long ago when she did a performance on one of those BET shows and she sang live, killed it, looked freakish, just ridiculously amazing. So
Oh yes, Mother rocked it in her body kind.
yes. So she's dope, but again, we're gonna agree, and Faith Evans is gonna advance. Now, T, this next matchup is pretty good.
Yeah, so now we are looking at Tony Braxton versus Stephanie Mills. Now, Stephanie Mills is iconic. Everything
Absolutely.
that she's done is just phenomenal. Her voice is top tier, and just the work that she's done collectively over her entire career, it 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 it's amazing. She,
Got you speechless.
yeah, she's right. I kind of am. She's super iconic. Like every kid in the world, like your school talent show and sang home.
Right. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so she definitely has her stamp on the
When my
entire
feet get
culture.
home,
Yeah,
my feet have
definitely.
a plate. Yeah, that's
Right.
fire.
Yeah,
Absolute fire.
but again, for have to lean or get us leaning to Miss Tony Braxton, and that is because again, what she did was just such a game changer. As far as the look and appeal of a black female R&B artist, everybody kind of looked the same. Where we
Yeah,
have this brown skinned woman with this sickening short hair
dope.
who sang these meaningful songs by the incredible Babyface, who their partnership was just a game changer, and it actually changed the music industry. I feel, and it especially gave a different representation of what an R&B diva would look like, and even sound like. Her voice. She had a rich register, lower tones, and I
Hmm.
just don't think that we had ever quite seen anything like that before. So I would have to give this bracket to Miss Tony.
Again, we agree. Yeah, again, Stephanie Mills, queen, icon. To me, she is more 80s than 90s. Um, yeah, Tony Braxton, cultural reset, uh, just stunning vocals, it's ridiculous. Yeah, so again, we agree Tony Braxton is going to advance. Now, what's the next matchup, T?
The next matchup, oh, this is a good one. Uh, I think we might have our first difference now. We have Monica versus Kelly Price.
Geez, this is actually very difficult. Monica is a fantastic vocalist. She's had hits, this huge career. Um, Kelly Price is I guess the thing that's challenging me about Kelly Price is because Kelly Price has done so much behind the scenes. She's done so much writing for other artists. She's done so much background vocals for other artists. She's worked with big artists. She sang with Mariah Carey and so very, very difficult to choose. I am going to This is tough, man.
I
I
know,
am
right?
going to give the slightest of edge, just a tiny, 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 tiny. How many times can I say tiny? The tiniest slight of edge. I'm going to, because I'm still thinking in my head. That's why. I'm going to give it to Monica.
Okay, so is it my
It is.
turn? All right. So when we first started this, we had indicated that there were multiple things that you can look at in order to determine who's going to advance, right? We said that
Mm-hmm.
you can just look at their voice and base it only on the voice. You can look at their cultural impact and base it on that alone. You can look at their hits and base it on that alone. You can look at their number of albums sold and base it on that alone. You can combine it. You can do uh, a combination of only two, or there's all kind of ways that you can look at it to advance. Looking at it, I am going to look at this on raw vocals alone. They are
Oh.
both so amazing that I need to take for my personal sanity, all of the other elements out of it, right? Just based on the voice. Okay. They are both powerhouses.
Shoot, they can sing.
They can sing SANG. But if I just base it on the voice alone, I gotta give it to Kelly Price.
Dang. Okay, so we have we have not established what do we do when we disagree.
No, you haven't. Do we rock, paper, scissors, or what do we how do we do this?
Right. That's interesting. Well, I agree. It was super super close, and it was
Yeah,
you
this is
know
by far the toughest one.
yeah the matchup it was just super super slim. So I am
Well, tell me why you chose Monica, because like you gave them both big ups, but you indicated that you were slightly giving the edge to Monica, but why did she get that edge?
I would
Change
have
my mind.
oh shoot that's the thing. Well, that's the thing though. It was so close that I don't know if I care. Like I think I'm totally okay with going with Kelly Price. Um, I I want to say cultural significance. Um, she had bigger hits. Um,
hmm
um, I guess since this is an R&B category, I don't the fact that she had crossover hits and she was on the Hot 100 and stuff like that.
hmm
Um, I don't I don't know if that would give her an edge in an R&B category. Um, and honestly, I was just the impact of The Boy Is Mine, obviously was huge. It won Grammys. Where's my phone? Let me see. Should we consider awards?
Well, that's the thing. I think that we can consider everything. And as I stated, my decision, the reason why I give it to Kelly is that I'm simply basing it off of the voice alone, and that is no
Mm-hmm.
shade on Monica's voice. Monica's voice, like we said before, they can both sing, but to me, just as far as with the voices alone, just Kelly got that from your gut kind of thing
Facts.
that kind of runs up your spine a little differently.
Facts. So I looked it up. I'm on Google and it says that Kelly Price has received 9 Grammy nominations, but she didn't win. She has Soul Train Music Awards.
Okay, so but she doesn't have any Grammys.
Yeah. Um,
Well, that's okay.
no, that's absolutely fine. So did I change your mind or no?
No, you didn't.
Okay, well, I'm willing to go with Kelly Price. Okay. So yeah, we could go with Kelly Price. So this we went through 16 different acts, and this quarter of the bracket
Yep.
this
So for the solo women, do you want to go over who's advancing?
um yeah, absolutely. And then we'll take a break to go on to the next part of the bracket. Okay.
All righty.
So uh we have Mary J. Blige advancing versus Tamia in the next round. We have Aaliyah versus Erica Badu in the next round. We have Brandy versus Faith in the next round. And Tony Braxton versus Kelly Price. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break and set up for the next round.
All right. Sounds good. Be
All right, well,
hollering at you shortly.
all right, be right back.
Yep.
Okay, and we are back. How'd you feel about that first round of matchups, T?
Girl, I am stressed. I feel like we made the right decisions, but I'm like, but we gotta stick with it. Gotta
Yep,
stick to our guns.
Monica being out in the first round is crazy, but
Oh,
yep,
tragedy.
we made our choice, so let's move on. Now we are moving on to the next division, and it is female groups. It is going to be a good one. Now, there is a notation some of these groups are not exactly female groups or girl groups, but they are led by a female singer. So take that in mind as we proceed. So, T, why don't you give us the first matchups?
All right, let's go. We have SWV versus Brand New Heavies. Now, obviously, SWV is back in the mainstream right now because of the reality show that they're doing, which is a whole hot mess, but that's a different podcast for a different day.
Messy.
And then versus the Brand New Heavies, which is led by Dia Davenport. Now, the Brand New Heavies were very they were experimental. They were new. They were something fresh and different. And I think the whole concept of like live instrumentation and real musicianship
Yeah.
has really faded over the last couple of decades with all the other alternative ways to make music right now. Um, but she did the dang thing.
She
And
was super dope.
their music was super dope. It was original. Again, it was very organic, and they also carved out that lane. We talked before about like the rise of neo soul. They also have a very special part in that lane, and being able to open and expose new alternative kind of music to primarily Black audiences. So we definitely give India and the Brand New Heavies their props for that. However, Sisters with Voices are one of the most iconic girl groups of all time. They have hit after hit after hit. They have just a track record of not only really beautiful ballads, but also just good old fun dance music. And they have uh, continue to entertain and continue to share their music over all these years. So for me, this is a definite SWV taking this bracket.
I agree 100%. Once again, Brand New Heavies, super dope. They were maybe in a jazz category.
Hmm.
Um, and it leaned over into R&B. Uh, they were very eclectic. It was like a period of time where it was like what was it Guru had did like the jazzmatazz
Right,
kind of
right.
thing and stuff like that. I think she worked with him on that project. And yeah, she was just um had this really cool vibe, this cool energy, unique as far as her image and her presentation. uh Super dope. As a matter of fact, like it's about time for me to pull up some of that stuff. Never Stop. That was fire.
Yeah, that was, that
And
was.
but absolutely. Brand New Heavy's awesome. SWV probably defined the decade. Like they were one of the top girl groups of all time.
True
So
that.
they're going to advance clearly. So congrats to SWV. We're moving on to the next matchup, which is actually a lot tougher than the one we just had, which is Janae versus the girls representing Vegas 702. What do you think,
Oh,
T?
oh man, this is tough. Um, so me and you, we maybe not sang, but we got a little, we can hum a little melody.
Little
And
harmony,
one thing
harmony,
about
little
you and I,
harmony.
right, yeah, we can hit little harmonies. And one thing about you and I is that like that two-part harmony
Mm-hmm.
is so it don't, you often when you think about harmonies you think about four parts and maybe even big mass choirs and that kind of thing, but those two-part harmonies are so special and they're so almost intimate, and because they seem so much personable, and what they did with their two-part harmonies was just amazing. Um, First of all, you have to give them all props for their image, their looks. They were
Mm-hmm.
looking amazing, fabulous with the short hair and even the faded kind of look where women just were not shown like that, and it they allowed us to maybe one of the first to really take a look at ourselves in all kind of ways and all kind of images and all kind of styles and be like, that's dope, or that works and that looks good. So kudos to them for that. And again, those two-part harmonies were just classic. Again, they made that kind of just when they made groove thing, that's exactly what their music was. Music that you could just groove to.
Yeah,
It
that's
was that
true.
feel good groove to it, just had a real smooth vibe to it. So kudos to those ladies. Yeah, Janae had it going on. But looking at 702, man, I gotta give 702 the edge on this one. The reason why is because um their music just kind of grabbed a hold of you. They had a couple of really iconic anthems for the ladies, like "Where My Girls At." Like, come on now, we used to talk about when you were young, you were getting ready to go out to the club. You always had to have on music that hyped you up while you getting dressed and putting on your makeup and stuff. Music that make you feel good. Like "Where My Girls At" was one of those songs.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you put that on and be grooving. And then like my favorite song by them is to this day, it's just a travesty that it did not get the kind of, I guess, push from the record label. I don't know what the T is on all that, but I Still Love You, with the Neptune's beat.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like one of my favorite songs. And so that right there really pushed the 702 to win this bracket for me.
Okay. So again, I'm going to agree. Janae, super dope. Um, I'm trying to think of like the timeline. I think Janae was out just a little bit before them, before
Hmm
702. Just a little though. I don't think
hmm
that it was that much of a gap. But
Right.
yeah, a vibe. Janae, a total vibe. Yeah, I loved the harmonies. The music was smooth and laid back. Um, they were super dope. They had a really good album too. I remember buying that back in the day. But I'd have to give the edge to 702. Um, super talented. I thought that the first album, no doubt, I could not skip any track on there. Just really fun, you know,
Definitely.
really fun songs. Mila, her voice is crazy.
Oh God, yes.
And they were super dope. So absolutely, they are moving on. So we're gonna move on to the next matchup. To me, I don't think this is much of a debate. We have Escape going up against Changing Faces. Fooling around. Okay, go T.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, so what is interesting about this is we talked before when we were doing the solo artist about what characteristics will you look for in making that determination. And we talked about actual, voice strength or voice talent and cultural aspect and sales and hits, and there are so many things that you have to take into accountability. What is interesting about this particular bracket is that again we talked about SWV in the reality show. Obviously, Escape is in the blogs a lot right now for
The
that
mess of
very
it
same
all.
show, right? But
Mm.
again, that's another day and another pod. So we'll talk about that at a later time.
Oh my
But
gosh.
what is really interesting to me personally, and this is my personal experience, is that while Escape always had jams, they always had hits. Like if was in the radio and I heard one of their songs, I would listen to it and be like, "Oh, that was a bop." But I have never purchased any music by Escape.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we think about what was that, the Temptations movie
Mm-hmm.
where Barry Gordy was talking to not Stevie Wonder, but he was talking to Smokey Robinson, and they were writing songs, and they were
Yeah.
saying, "Is if you were down to your last dollar and you had the choice between a sandwich and buying this album, would you buy this album?" And if it was
Yeah,
the
they had
yes,
like the
then
focus
right,
group. Yeah.
right, okay.
Uh-huh.
So if I had a choice, I was down to my last dollar, and I had a choice between an Escapes album
And a
and
sandwich?
a sandwich. I was getting that sandwich.
Okay, yes, come
Not
through.
because I did not like Escape, but I did not like Escape enough to buy their music. No
Mm-hmm.
shade. I'm not saying that they didn't have jams that I did not enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I bop to just kicking it, and actually my jam
Every
kind of was
man loves a woman.
right. And my jam, if I was ever going to buy one of the songs, it probably would have been My Little Secret, because that was my jam.
Ooh, I got a story
But
about that, but
not for personal
yeah,
reasons,
we're not
but
gonna record that one.
right. But they had hits. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I never purchased their music.
Would you
Um,
purchase Change of Faces? Did you
I
purchase?
did.
Okay.
I remember purchasing that first album by Change of Faces, and I remember enjoying it a lot. I remember some other cuts that weren't released as singles. I really liked a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and they were good. With that being said, even with me never purchasing an Escape album, their cultural influence by far is no comparison to
Mm-hmm.
Changing Faces. What they did, again, we talk about a lot of different things, and one thing that kind of stood out to me is they were the quintessential round the way girls. They were the girls next door. And
Mm-hmm.
even though eventually their styling matured as they matured,
Yeah.
they were more like me as far as presentation, as far as I'm wearing the polo shirt and the baggy
Mm-hmm.
jeans, And so that is a huge reason why culturally they absolutely influenced all the black around the way girls in the world who just wanted to kick it.
Every
So,
man.
right. So yeah, I gotta get that up to the ladies of Escape.
Okay. Well, I would go with Escape as well. Um, I just think they had more hits than Chasing Faces.
Oh
That's
yeah. Oh no, no
yeah,
doubt. No doubt.
yeah.
Without
So
question.
I'm trying to think of like some more Changing Faces songs. Didn't they have that
They have
song?
fooling around, and I
Right.
don't think a lot of people realize that uh Come Over, which was made by Aaliyah, was originally done by Changing Faces.
Oh, the jam, ladies, man, a playboys.
Right.
That was
Hmm.
fire. That was fire. And
Hmm.
didn't they have a song with
And they did Ghetto UT.
yes. Okay, okay. So yeah, so it's not, it's they're competing, they're in a competition,
Yeah,
but
they
yeah,
have a couple
but
things to contribute, but
I
their
think this might
contribution
be
is nothing compared to Escape.
the way that some of these matchups, the seeding is like really tragic because like a
Hmm.
lot of, good artists have to go out in the first round. So
Right.
Escape is moving on. Congrats to them. So T, give us the next matchup.
All right. Next we have, oh, this is the interesting one. We have Brownstone against Sounds of Blackness, which is led by Ann Nesby. What do you think about that, Nick?
Um, to me, it's NSV is a legend. She's an icon in the music industry, Sounds of Blackness, very positive. Did Be Optimistic come out in the 90s or in the late 80s? I'm not sure.
Yeah, oh,
But
it came out in the 90s because it was in the running to be our class song when we graduated.
okay, why
And
are
I actually
you
voted for that
giving
song.
people why are you giving people insight into our age
Well,
range?
no. Well, obviously our age range because of a lot of music that we picked out. We've
Okay.
indicated what our cultural influences are. So, our age range is pretty determined.
Oh my
Let
goodness.
us know in the
Okay.
chat how old y'all think we are.
Oh, oh, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Yeah, so honestly, this is easy breezy. Brownstone advances for one reason and one reason only, and that is the bridge to
Grapevine.
Grapevine.
I knew you were gonna say that.
That
I
is
knew I had to
that's
take it
it.
back and did it for first. Oh my God, sis,
Fire,
ripped,
smoking hot fire.
ripped.
It is what it is. I like that what do you call it? That gif with Oprah Winfrey when she just put her hands up. It is what it is. That's
I
it.
was a
What do you
lady, so
think?
there's nothing that I would
Fire.
not do. But it's not just that. Okay, that song was the bomb, but it's not that. If you love me, um, epic, classic.
Yeah,
My
that was a
girl
jam.
Nikki Gilbert, just in the groove.
Yeah,
Love it.
feel
And
it.
what else did they have? Oh, and the second album, 5 Miles to Empty.
Fire.
Yeah, yeah. So that
They
I
I
definitely
can't tell
agree
you
with you.
why.
Oh yeah, they ripped
Epic.
that.
Hmm. And the way that they when they sing, I don't know like if they like dub their voices or whatever, but like it's always sounded like a choir. It sounded like 10, 12 people.
Hmm.
It didn't sound like three. So I don't know. Super dope. Yeah,
Yeah, they were the
automatically.
first artists that were on Michael Jackson's label. So shout out to MJ.
Oh, that's cool. Cool little fun fact. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they won because of
definitely, no doubt.
because of the bridge to Great Falls.
Facts, facts.
So okay, so we'll go with the next matchup. Congrats to Brownstone. The next matchup is In Vogue versus Cut Close. What do you
Yeah,
think,
this
Lady T?
might by far be the easiest one. The cut close, shout out to those ladies and Keith Sweat, but the iconic goddesses of In Vogue take this one easily.
I agree 100%. I am looking over these names of the female groups and like I'm gonna be honest, like I'm getting kind of sad. I just don't understand how you know these groups they break up and it's like you guys you're so amazing. You had these amazing accomplishments and couldn't keep it together. So even if personally things are weird or whatever, just at least get together to do the job,
Yeah,
to
make the money.
yeah, make the money and give the people what they want.
Right.
But they're still very, very much touring. They're still doing shows. It's a different entity of girls. And they've got the new young lady in there, but she's actually been in the group
Yeah,
way
for a long
longer than the
time.
original four.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, they're still doing their thing, but it's just, a different combination. But that first album, Funky Divas, yeah, I mean, it just shook everything. It was so dope. They were absolutely gorgeous. Looks.
Absolutely.
Um, just super dope. They could all sing. I loved it how they all switched up leads and super dope. What's that line from the TLC song? Used to have a crush on Don from In Vogue. That's what Fight Dog.
Yes.
Yeah, Fight
But
Dog. That's what.
yeah, shout
Yes,
out to Tribe Called Quest. Love
yes,
them.
yes.
Yeah, but the original core of the Funky Divas, Terry, Cindy,
Mhm.
Dawn, Maxine,
Yes.
ladies, you must not realize how many people out here love you, that you influence them, because you guys would be doing better as far as being able to work together still, because what you contributed as a group to the culture, to just music in general, was really epic and it was special. And you know opportunities or things like that where the right set of people come together at the right time do not happen very often. This was definitely one of those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to Rana Bennett because she's been, like I said, she's been in the group way longer than the original four, like
Yeah, and no
Dawn and
shade to her at all.
Maxine.
She's beautiful and
No,
hella
yeah, oh my
talented. She's doing
God.
her thing.
And she's been in the industry for a long time. I've
Yeah,
seen her in other things before she joined the group. So
right.
shout out to her. She's a part of an amazing legacy. And yeah, all of the ladies are awesome, but they are moving on past cut close. Like I think we both agree.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but shout out to cut close though. Shout
Shout
out to
out.
cut close. All
All
right, T,
right.
what's the next matchup?
Okay, it looks like we have Groove, I'm sorry, Total versus Groove Theory. Now tell me what you're thinking, Nick.
Um, Groove Theory, I only know them for the one song, you know. Um, Love, I know that they've done different projects separately, but
Hmm.
Groove Theory, Tell me you, yeah, dope song, nice. I'm the word I'm thinking is nice groove,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, you know, Emil, a super, talented vocalist. She's done other projects and stuff like that. Her voice is really cool, soothing,
Oh yeah.
smooth. It did kind of dip into the kind of the neo soul kind of thing, but it wasn't quite neo soul. But
Mhm.
yeah, super talented. But I think I'm going to give it to Total, and I'm thinking my brain is working the same way it did in the women's solo category as far as like Faith Evans. I'm putting them in the Bad Boy Collective, and just when we talk about cultural impact, how the Bad Boy Collective, shook the culture and changed things, and basically like the major storyline of, most of the 90s. So, and they had hits, okay? They worked with Missy Elliott and, all kind of things. So definitely I'm going to give it to Total. I'm really interested in what you think about this.
Now you know how I feel about Total.
Yes.
Again, they were like the roundaway girls, the roundaway girls who had a couple of dollars, so they weren't wearing like polos and baggy jeans. They got to wear like real leather suits,
Yes, leather suits, yes.
but they were still like the roundaway girls from their styling, their hair, their fashions.
Dope.
Yeah, they were dope, and they had a very unique style that was, and you know what? Now that you've mentioned it a couple of times with the artists that have been associated with Bad Boy, maybe it was the Bad Boy thing, but it was so fresh and so um youthful but sexy and like ear to the street music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, they had a mix. They had the music that you just bop to. They had the songs that you turn up, the whole hip hop beats over vocal singing, and they
Mm-hmm.
may not have been like belters as far as their singing ability, but they definitely had a groove. You had Miss Pam with that signature voice, and
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
right, and Kima and Keisha doing their thing, and they were bomb. They were
Mm-hmm.
bomb. Like my favorite song by them. Well, it's two favorite songs by them.
I know you used to keep that kissing you on repeat.
Right. Oh God, kissing
Yeah,
you.
at the old
Shout out
house.
Raphael Sadiq
Yes.
for writing and producing that amazing song. Yeah, that's one of my faves. But the joint with Missy Elliott. I hope that you've been checking me. I
Hey,
know it's got
hey. Yeah, that was
oh,
fire.
fire.
Yeah, that,
But like
yeah.
I literally now that one I purchased single cassette so much so that I played it so much so that the cassette warped.
Oh,
It sounded like there was an effect on it after a while. It was
oh,
dragging like
dang. Yeah,
yeah. So um definitely kudos to Toto. They definitely move on for me.
absolutely. Agreed. So, give us the next
All
matchup.
right. So the next matchup we have TLC versus Soul to Soul, who's led by Karen Wheeler.
Okay, so, soul to soul, keep on moving, don't stop, no, keep
Yes.
on moving. Super cute. I remember back in the day, the little local dance troupe at church, they did a routine to this song. So
And they
yeah,
posed on the beats. I think I
yes,
remember that. Yes,
yes.
I do
Oh my
remember that.
gosh. So uh cute song, it was like for the summer, it was like a really cool summer
Oh
song.
yeah.
Uh very love the vibe, positive energy, good message, something inspirational. Um as far as Soul to Soul, all I know is that song. Um Karen Wheeler's voice is
Butter.
super dope. Yes,
Yeah.
just kind of smooth, effortless.
Yeah,
That would have been
effortless.
really awesome to hear some more from her. Um, but because I don't know much about Soul to Soul outside of that song, obviously TLC is one of the biggest selling girl groups of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Just so millions and millions of records, uh, just hit after hit after hit, and then of course the cultural significance. They they put a stamp on the industry, fashion. Just T-Boz's voice is so unique, and it was just really smart of the people, behind the scenes to put her as like the signature voice. You always know a TLC song.
Right, absolutely.
Um, you know, Lisa Left Eye Lopez was just like absolutely nobody like her. Um, just so animated, and then I know that she was a heavy influence on as far as the group's image and presentation and stuff like that. Her
Mm-hmm.
voice was crazy. She had the little crazy voice and putting the raps on there. And they were so fun, so fun. I think that's one of the tragic things about them, uh, about what happened and with Lisa and everything like that, because their group was so fun. And they were just
Yeah,
and so now when you only see two of them, you kind of feel
it's
sad.
heavy.
And yeah,
Yeah.
you don't
Mm-hmm.
get the fun and the joy that you used to get from TLC.
Yeah.
So you know, amazing women. They've been through a lot. They've all been open with different things that they've been through. But as far as the music, they have way more hits. TLC, to me, easily advances. I'm sure you'll agree, but let me hear what you have to
I don't agree. No, I'm teasing.
say.
Yeah, yeah. This one doesn't take a lot of this effort. It's not a heartbreaker. Obviously, just the body of work is just no comparison. And you're right. TLC was always a joy to watch. They always, made raised your spirits. They were always animated and fun and carefree, and they just had a lot to offer. And it is unfortunate. Rest in peace, obviously, the Left Eye. But the group is still out there doing their thing, still remaining relevant. You still see T-Boz around, you still see Chili around, and so, best of luck to the ladies as they continue to move forward. But this round definitely goes to TLC.
hmm And so we're going to advance to the final matchup. Destiny's Child versus Jay. Take it away, T.
Oh Lord. Okay, so you know it is what it is. Destiny's Child is again one of the top girl groups ever. Um, the music was top notch. They did the independent women before it was popular to say that you were independent. You know what I'm saying? Um, they even with the turmoil that they had, and again, we're just referencing the group. We're not referencing obviously the solo entity. So even when they had the internal turmoil and the rearrangements or the removing of some members and the addition of others, and eventually settling on just those three members, which in and of itself it almost felt like once they became the three, it skyrocketed. Like that's the combination that was always supposed to be.
Right, right.
But their music is undeniable. You cannot take that away from them for any reason. And as far as Jay, they were cute in their time. I think that there was like a lot of potential that just wasn't um made. And again, I'm sure that just like everybody else, there may be all kind of stories that reference to why they just never seem to kind of explode or catch on in the matter that their talent was, because them girls
hmm
could sing.
Yeah. And they had
Yeah,
hits too.
yeah, they had hits, and they had a very original aesthetic. They looked good.
hmm
They also gave you that kind of like girl next door, roundaway girl field, and they were fun and energetic, and they did their thing. But I'm pretty sure if they ever got it behind the music, we'd be able to hear probably a similar story to why a lot of other people just weren't able to kind of level up into that next phase of
And
their
is it
careers.
just me or is it just like the girl groups that have that can't get along stuff? Cause do you hear that from the guy? Well, I guess because like New Edition and stuff. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, I think that a lot of times, and we'll talk more about that when we do the guys side of the
Yeah.
bracket. But a lot of times there's just this narrative that female groups can't get along. Nah,
Yeah.
stop tripping. The male groups can't get along too. I think that the difference though is that the male groups will always see the money. Like, I don't like you,
Okay.
Ninja, but let's go get this check.
Yeah, we got this.
Whereas the female groups will say, I don't care about the money. I don't like this chick.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that's where the difference is. There are definitely turmoils in the male groups, but they're like, we're gonna do this show, we're gonna get this check, and then we're gonna get on different buses and go home because
Ooh.
I don't want to rock with you. Whereas the
Okay.
lady was like, I don't even want to make money with you. Forget the money. I just don't want to be around you.
Yeah. That's messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I agree with you, Destiny's Child. But Jade, I used to love uh every day of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That was
Yes.
so cute. And then of course they did
Even on
Don't
Sunday.
Walk Away, Boy. That was a jam too. So those were
Yeah.
really fun songs. And Don't Walk Away was like a summer jam. So
Right.
shout out to them. We're gonna get them their props. But
And I
obviously,
remember like the video with the high-waisted jeans and the black cutoff shirts.
and the one thing they had like those high ponytails with the long, long, long ringlets coming out of them. Like, come on,
And
that was
they did the
fire.
braids too.
Oh
Did they
yeah,
like we have to look and see what time they came out because they might have did the braids even before Brandy.
probably like 93, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, fire, shout out to the ladies of Jade. But
Definitely.
Destiny's Child will be moving on.
We'll
So
see.
that went by pretty fast. So we have the first round of our female groups region. And so we're going to update our bracket and we'll be moving on. So we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned, everybody. Remember, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go in the comments. We want to know what you think about how this bracket is looking so far. All right? So stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, y'all. See y'all in a minute.
Thanks, guys, for watching the Twin Twist Show. Keep it out for part 2 of our bracket. It's coming soon. Thanks again for watching.
We call this here a little twin.